Have you ever felt so humiliated that you wanted to disappear, only to find that one act of kindness could change everything? Picture this. A woman stands in a room full of people, her heart pounding, her face burning with shame, as the one person she trusted most tears her apart in front of everyone. That woman was me, Anna. And this is the story of how my 35th birthday became the night my life changed forever. The air in our cozy suburban home was thick with the scent of vanilla candles and fresh roses. Laughter and clinking glasses filled the living room, where fairy lights draped across the walls cast a warm golden glow. My husband, Tom, had insisted on throwing me a big birthday party, something I'd resisted at first. I wasn't one for attention. My quiet job as a librarian suited my love for books and solitude. But Tom's enthusiasm was infectious, and I let myself believe this night would be special. Friends, neighbors, and colleagues mingled, their chatter a comforting hum. I wore a deep blue dress, one Tom had picked out, and for once, I felt beautiful, my brown curls cascading over my shoulders. As I moved through the crowd, offering smiles and thanking guests, I caught Tom's eye across the room. He was charming as ever, his broad grin lighting up his face as he chatted with our neighbor Mark. I felt a flicker of pride. 10 years of marriage, and he still made my heart skip. But something in his gaze tonight felt off, a glint I couldn't place. I brushed it aside, blaming the wine or my nerves. The clock struck 9, and Tom clapped his hands, drawing everyone's attention. "Time for a toast," he announced, his voice booming. The room quieted, all eyes on him. My stomach fluttered with anticipation. He raised his glass, his smile widening. "To Anna," he began, "my wife, who somehow manages to make 35 look, well, let's just say interesting." A few chuckles rippled through the crowd. I smiled, though my cheeks warmed. He continued, "I mean, who else could spend hours organizing books nobody reads, or wear that dress like it's still 1995? The laughter grew louder, sharper. My smile faltered. Was he mocking me? He didn't stop. "Let's be honest," he said, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "Anna's the queen of playing it safe. Same job, same routine, same old dreams she'll never chase. Here's to another year of, well, this." He gestured at me, and the room erupted in laughter. My heart plummeted. The faces around me blurred, their smiles twisting into something cruel. I stood frozen, the weight of their eyes crushing me. My own husband, the man I loved, had turned my birthday into a public humiliation. I couldn't breathe. My hands trembled as I set down my glass, the clink against the table deafening in my ears. Without a word, I turned and walked out, the front door slamming behind me. The cool night air hit my face, sharp and biting, as tears stung my eyes. I stumbled down the street, the laughter echoing in my mind. How could he do this? Can you imagine the betrayal, the way it cuts deeper than any knife? I ended up at the park a few blocks away, the one where Tom and I used to walk when we were dating. The swings creaked in the breeze, their chains glinting under the streetlights. I sank onto a bench, my dress pulling around me, and let the tears come. The stars above blurred into streaks of light. I felt small, invisible, like the dreams Tom mocked, dreams of writing a novel, of traveling, of being more than the safe Anna everyone knew. That's when I heard footsteps. I looked up to see a woman approaching, her silver hair glowing under the moonlight. She carried a small paper bag, and her eyes, kind and weathered, met mine. "Mind if I sit?" she asked softly. I nodded, wiping my face. She introduced herself as Clara, a retired teacher who often walked the park at night. She didn't ask why I was crying, but her presence felt like a warm blanket. After a moment, she opened the bag and pulled out a cupcake, its single candle unlit. "I always carry one," she said with a smile. "You never know when someone needs a little light." I laughed despite myself, the sound shaky. She lit the candle with a match, the tiny flame flickering between us. "Make a wish," she urged. I closed my eyes, the weight of the night pressing down. I wished for courage to be more than the woman Tom saw. I blew out the candle, and Clara clapped, her laugh bright and infectious. That small act, That stranger's kindness felt like a lifeline. She didn't know me, yet she saw me. For the first time that night, I felt like I mattered. Clara and I talked for hours. She shared stories of her students, of how she'd encouraged shy kids to find their voices. "You're not your husband's words," she said, her voice firm. "You're the stories you haven't told yet." Her words sank into me, stirring, something I'd buried long ago. When I finally returned home, the house was dark, the party long over. Tom was asleep on the couch, an empty bottle beside him. I didn't wake him. Instead, I sat at my desk and opened my laptop. For the first time in years, I started writing not for anyone else, but for me. The next morning, Tom was full of apologies. "I was drunk," he said, his eyes pleading. I didn't mean it, but his words felt hollow, like the echo of last night's laughter. I told him I needed space, that his mockery had broken something I wasn't sure we could fix. He looked stunned, as if he hadn't realized the depth of his words. I left for work, my heart heavy but resolute. To the library, I found a note slipped into my bag. It was from Clara, with her phone number and a simple message. "Keep writing, Anna. The world needs your story." I stared at it, tears welling. How could a stranger believe in me more than my own husband? That day, I made a decision. I enrolled in a local writing workshop, something I'd always wanted but never dared. The group met in a small community center, its walls lined with colorful posters and the smell of fresh coffee in the air. There, I met Jamal, a young barista with a quick smile and a notebook full of poetry. He was shy at first, but during our first session, he read a poem about his late mother, his voice cracking with emotion. The room was silent, then erupted in applause. I saw myself in him, the fear of being seen, the longing to be heard. After the session, I approached him, my heart racing. "That was beautiful," I said. He blushed, mumbling a thank you. I told him about my novel, the one I'd started the night before. His eyes lit up. "You have to keep going," he said. "I'll read it if you share." That was the second act of kindness, a young man's encouragement, freely given, that made me feel like my words mattered. Over the weeks, Jamal and I became friends. He'd bring me coffee during breaks, and I'd critique his poems. One day, he admitted he'd dropped out of college, too afraid to pursue his dream of teaching. "You're braver than you think," I told him, echoing Clara's words to me. I helped him research scholarships, and when he got accepted back into school, he hugged me so tightly I could feel his gratitude. Can you feel the warmth of that moment? The way kindness ripples outward? The workshop became my sanctuary, but home was another story. Tom's apologies grew repetitive, his frustration mounting as I pulled away. One night, he confronted me. "You're different," he accused, his voice sharp. "What's with all this writing nonsense?" I stood tall, my voice steady. "It's not nonsense. It's me." For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes, fear of losing the Anna he thought he knew. That was the midpoint of my story, the unexpected turn. I wasn't just fighting for my dreams, I was fighting for myself. Months passed, and my novel took shape. Clara read my drafts, her feedback gentle but honest. Jamal cheered me on, his own poetry blooming. But the real surprise came at the workshops and of your reading. I'd planned to share a short excerpt, my hands shaking as I stood before the small crowd. The room smelled of old books and winter air, the windows fogged from the warmth inside. As I read, my voice grew stronger, the words pouring out like a river. When I finished, the applause was thunderous. Jamal whooped, and Clara dabbed her eyes. But then, a figure stepped forward from the back. Tom. He'd come, uninvited, his face unreadable. My heart stopped. Was he here to mock me again? But he approached, his eyes soft. "I'm so sorry," he whispered, loud enough for only me to hear. "I was wrong." "You're incredible." The room faded away, and for a moment, it was just us. I didn't forgive him, not yet, but his presence was a start. That night, I realized kindness could come from unexpected places, even from someone who'd hurt me. The climax came a year later. My novel was published, a quiet story about a woman finding her voice. At the launch party, held in the same community center, Clara, Jamal, and even Tom stood by my side. The room buzzed with pride, the air sweet with cake and hope. I dedicated the book to Clara, whose cupcake had sparked my courage, and to Jamal, whose friendship had fueled it. Tom and I were working on our marriage, slowly rebuilding trust. His regret was real, but so was my strength. As I looked out at the crowd, I felt a surge of gratitude. Kindness, Clara's candle, Jamal's encouragement, even Tom's apology had transformed me. It had broken barriers, changed my perspective, and sparked a new life. Can you feel it? That spark of hope? It's in all of us, waiting to be shared. So, what's your story? Have you ever been touched by a stranger's kindness or found the courage to chase a dream? Share it in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. And if this story moved you, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more tales of hope and heart. Next time, we'll dive into a story about a man who lost everything, but found something even greater. You won't want to miss it.